Woo. Wow, you guys, we have been trying to get the technical difficulties out here, but we finally got some technical difficulties out. You know, they took away Google Hangouts on YouTube, and so we are in the new system of webcam. So sorry if it messed up with anybody's getting on here today. Man, all right. So I got a lot of people say, Erica, ignore the haters. Ignore them, Erica. Why are you responding to the haters? And here's the thing. In all honesty, like, um, I want y'all to see that people actually think like this, right? Because a lot of times people say, well, it's all in your mind. It's mindset. You just go out and you do it, Erica. But listen, there's a lot of people who have these type of people in their family, around them, and talking into them at jobs, at school. And so you have to realize the programming's so hard that, like, I shared this with y'all to show, like, even me at this level with so much social proof, with so much, like, clearly there's money here in this money tree. People still are like, well, you know what you need, Erica? You need some bundles and some fake Gucci and some Prada purses, because then you would look rich. And what's so funny is you're hearing someone say, what's up, Prince Diamond? What's up, Amanda? What's up, Charm City Buyers, Terry? I just bring it up because I want people to see how crazy it is. It's absolutely crazy. So if you guys can hear me, put a one in the comments. My audio button isn't moving, so I don't know if it's hearing me or not. But I had to bring this up because people always tell me what real wealth looks like, and it's kind of funny because um, the perfect storm just happened. So Paula Deen just made $100 million. And on the flip side, and I'm not reveling in someone's pain, but this is important. Todd Chrisley and his wife Julie, who you see on TV in this huge, ridiculous mansion in Atlanta, he's over the top. He's a little bit feminine, and they look like the lap of luxury. Well, they just got busted by the feds for falsifying bank documents. Because at first everybody said, well, pay your taxes. No, 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 baby. It's not the taxes. IRS will work with you, okay? Because they want their money. It is the wire fraud, bank fraud. And how do they get them? Applying for millions of dollars in loans under false pretenses. Now, when I tell y'all, don't be playing out here with these credit cards, don't be playing out here with these loan documents, I mean it. I really mean it. Like, it's not a joke. Like, wire fraud and bank fraud is for real, for real. If you see all these New Jersey housewives and people on these reality TV shows basically fronting, basically spending all this money to look good and not be all good. And that is what you think is wealth. And that's why it's funny to me, because literally I'm sitting last night at a bar and I'm laughing because the guy next to me owns like two dealerships here in Alabama. Some guy across the way is like the CEO of some other business. And way they looked like somebody dad just took them to Disneyland. Okay, like they had those dad shoes on and the khakis, the khakis with too many pockets. And I started laughing because people think, well, he owns two dealerships. He would be out here in gold chains and Gucci shirts and pants and all kind of stuff. No, he's out here, thank you, looking like Bill Gates. And that's how I know people don't know what real wealth is, because they don't talk to anybody. They don't go anywhere. And I remember saying this, and this is gonna be tough. Hear it, but don't get in your feelings. I went to a conference and it was a lot of millionaires there. And a lot of the wives just looked like average wives, just skinnier. I will be honest. A lot of the women were quite skinny, but looked pretty average. Okay. And this guy literally says to me, he's like, I would have thought their wives looked different. Now he was just being open and honest. I know it was untacky. It was untacky how he said it, but like, he's right. Because you would assume all these men with all this money in this room gonna have wives that look like they're in their 20s and young 30s. No, they have everyday average American wives that are about the same age as them, that started that business with them, that are just more in shape. I will give them that. All the women in there were quite in shape. But overall, they like everyday average women. And the problem is you guys been watching TV so long that it's programmed you to think, well, millionaires are out here stunting in BMWs. Millionaires are living the highlight. And it cracks me up because right now I can name off at least six people who, if not millionaires, are close to it. They all got old cars. All of them. All of them. I'm talking about a guy in Texas who owns 2 gas stations. Old ass Toyota Camry in Georgetown, Texas. I mean, I mean, it's just funny because it's like everybody I know that does big things with money have a regular old ass car. And I was talking to somebody about getting a new car. Maybe it was Terry, somebody. I'm like, man, I really want this $60,000 car. And they're like, why? The opportunity cost. You know what I mean? And it's like, you're right. We think different. We're not like everybody else. We're not going to be like, yeah, let's drop bread on these cars. Even a guy, Nick Bear, you can go look up his YouTube channel. This guy has a multi-million-dollar supplement company. He drives a Ford truck, a big one, expensive one, but a Ford truck. Like he had a BMW, turned it in and was like, what am I driving this for? And he had the BMW when he didn't have millions. He had the BMW when he was in the military. So a lot of times what y'all are seeing is like the fronting, the mass fronting and thinking that's real. That's not real. Exactly. Charm City Buyers, Millionaire Next Door. Now, many people say, and Glenn Cameron says this sometimes, well, you know, Millionaire Next Door. Listen. People with actual money, they spend that money on vacations. Yes, they usually have a nice house, but they spend that money on vacations. They spend that money on trips. You know, you never see their children working jobs they don't want or don't like. 9 times out of 10, like that's why it was so shocking when Obama's daughter went to go work as a cashier. And everybody's like, why the hell is Sasha working as a cashier in the Hamptons for the summer, right? But it was something for her to do. She didn't have to do it. She chose to do it. And so there's a difference in looking the part and actually being the part. And what was funny is I went to the dealership the other day. You know, there's other guys in there and I'm not knocking them, but they look, you know, they look like drivers. They look like drivers. They're like, hey, guy, you know, they're just making small talk with them. And I get up to the counter and I'm like, I didn't fly all the way here from Austin, Texas to talk to you over counter. Take me to your office. And he was actually taken aback and looked like, oh, okay. Yeah. Follow me, Miss Williams. I'm like, yeah, what are you doing? Like, you know, people know who you are when you walk in the door. They know how you carry yourself. You know, money isn't all this super flashy. Like another example is I was in Atlanta at the Moxie Hotel, Midtown. This guy comes in with 500 pounds of cologne on and he got a jersey and he talking on the phone. He got a giant gold chain. He like, yeah, you know, and he comes in with this girl who is clearly an Instagram model. No knock to her. What she was wearing was clearly an Instagram model. He books her in her hotel room. He pays for it, you know. And me and Andre Hatchett, this is a true story. Andre Hatchett can vouch for it next time you see him on camera. The same girl leaves. She gone. We come back to that same hotel later that night because we were there at the same time she checked out. It's like 10 o'clock at night. And we're like, hey, what's up? Hey, girl, look at you. Where your man at? Right? Like just making random conversation. And we also had some beers. That's probably why we were a little friendly in the conversation. And she goes, girl, I don't know who he thought I was. He flew me out here. Then he tried to take me to some party with 30 guys. Like, it was weird. And we were looking at her like, so he got you off Instagram? So is he got money or not? Like we were trying to figure out what kind of situation was this. Essentially, long story short, she said he was trying to be like a fake rapper and he was trying to show her off like he's got models at some party. And it was super funny because again, what people think is success, what people think is money ain't real money, right? If someone paid $200 for your flight out to Atlanta, pay for your hotel, granted, I'm not going to knock him, pay for her hotel, but was taking her so he could look like he was big balling at a party and she wasn't even down for that. Like she wasn't even down to go to the party. Like, you know, it's all this fronting. It's exhausting. And it's exhausting because what it does is it teach kids that in order to be rich, you know, it's got to be flashy. It's got to be entertaining. And I feel like this is the problem in the community. This is why a lot of kids don't go into engineering. That's why kids don't go in tech and software. It's not just because other kids are bullying them because they're a black nerd. It's really because it's not exciting. And the fact is most millionaires are in boring ass things. There's even Brian Rigbo out of Houston was saying, yeah, I love real estate, but it's boring or something. And I was like, but that's where the money is. The money's in the boring. You guys are out here looking at the flashy and it's like, you're totally missing the freaking point. So look, I have to, I have to make this example one more time. So Chris Christie, of course, is on this reality TV show. He's all flash. He's very flamboyant. You would think he's a gay man. You don't know. I don't know. We don't. Nobody knows his heart. That's between him and the Lord. But he's married and he's on this show with his wife and all his kids. Even one of his kids had a black girlfriend in high school and she got pregnant and he brought her. They had a kid and he brought the kid into the house and you see the kid on the show sometimes. Not much though. So, he's chill. But on the opposite end is Paula Deen. Now, why did I bring up Paula Deen? See, many of y'all think, oh, Paula Deen said the N-word 20 years ago. She's off TV. But we are in the climate of the Trump years, right? Like, I'll just call them the Trump years. Because guess what? Paula Deen's been making money since Paula Deen left TV. Why? Because Paula Deen had a unique contract with the Food Network. She had her shows, unlike other people, she made money off the ads. Now, see, if y'all don't know about the Food Network is some gangster, okay? They are handcuffing people and taking a lot of their money. And so you end up having to work really hard when you get on the Food Network. Look at Rachel Ray, 500 books later, all this cookware. And so unlike all of them, Paula Deen had a lot of more space and freedom. Now, Paula Deen, of course, is famous for the butter. Right? Oh my God, Paula Deen's rubbing butter on everything. And I would love to share my screen, but I don't want to mess up this new webcam stream. I'm going to learn it when I get back home and work on it. But Paula Deen, essentially, when magazine subscriptions are down, when people's actual online subscriptions are down, Paula Deen, according to this article and according to documents, is up 40%. Why? Because she has that Southern charm. She talks about butter and all things delicious. Okay. She's inappropriate, but it's funny. It's like your grandma being funny and inappropriate. And what has happened is a venture company has come in and put an additional $100 million directly into Paula Deen's pocket. Why? Because right now, Paula Deen does cooking shows and tours. She does cruises on a boat where people pay $1,000 to get on the cruise boat for like 2 or 3 days just so they can see Paula Deen and she can cook and laugh and hug and oh my God, all kind of things. Okay. And what people don't understand is Paula Deen is the prime example, or she was the pre-example of how you can use the internet for streaming, book sales, catalogs. She's the true definition of, there's a book called The Long Tail. It's a document. You probably can Google it and look it up for free, but it's long story short is like the long tail, right? So it's the true fan. It's the 1,000 true fans. If you have 1,000 true fans, they will go with you through a lifetime. And that's what Paula Deen has. Paula Deen has a segment of like white Southern America who loves her and will spend money and will buy her cookware and will buy all her stuff and see her on HGT and invest money. Now, what that does is exactly Paula. It does not need to be on Food Network. Now you see her grown sons all over the place. Prime example. That's where I'm going. Paula Deen's sons have restaurants. She has restaurants. They have investments in real estate all over the Carolinas and Georgia and Florida. They have a lot of investments, okay? And what people think is money, which is Todd Chrisley and his wife, and this big Atlanta mansion, and all these flashy cars, and these parties, is the true wealth is the Paula Deens of the world. The true wealth is the people who own the houses in South Carolina. It's the people who own the properties in Georgia. I always get very defensive about Grant Cardone telling people not to own a home. I get very defensive about it because I know too many Southern families who literally generation after generation are renting. And literally the sons of the man who owns the house, is now the owner. I've told you guys this story a million times. My cousin, she's a distant cousin, really she's my mom and them's cousin. She's been in a house. She was in a house for over 26 years, 27 years. And the man who owned the house, she'd been paid that house multiple times over, came to her and said, listen, do you want this house for $35,000? You've been in it forever. I got cancer. I'm dying. My son's going to take over all the stuff and he might put you out. And she thought, oh no, I ain't got it. Now she didn't take the time to say, let me call around. Let me call my extended family who owns multiple rentals all over Fayetteville. She decided, well, I can't afford it. Well, less than 6 months later, he dies. His son comes in, puts her out, non-renews the lease after she's been there for like 25, 26 years, upgrades the house, and rents it out to somebody new. And what happens is people talk about generational wealth, and the truth of the matter is a lot of people inherit their grandma's house. They just don't want it because it looks like work, because it looks like you have to finally repair those things at grandma's house that you always made fun of, the stove not working, this not working, the AC not working. Yeah, those things cost money to repair and turn around and rent them out. And that's what real money looks like. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and so every time I hear people say that, I laugh because I'm like, you're not Grant Cardone. You don't own 4,000 properties. Let me see what you said here. Been renting 20 years. I'm now sick of making my landlord rich. Yeah. Facts. Love the content. It's always real, dropping knowledge. Why would you take advice about home ownership from a man who makes all his money renting houses? All his money renting apartments, and everybody who's in the industry knows. What's up, Doug? They know that apartments they're not making all their numbers. I worked in apartments for over really 7 years, but we'll say 5 just for the sake of argument. And I promise you, there's a lot of concessions they're doing. What they do is they keep the rent high, but they're out here giving 2, 3, 4 months of free rent to people to get them in there. And so, I mean, it cracks me up that I still get these comments all the time. I'm like, someone who's an actual millionaire is getting told by people who aren't a millionaire what millionaire looks like. Okay. All right. Sure. When you see my IRS bill, you let me know. You want to pay it? Come through and pay that bill for me. I'm good. You know what I mean? It cracks me up because and you also have to think about in South Carolina, I think the home ownership right now is like 60, 70% for Black people. It's real high. It's real, absolutely high. You can go look it up for several areas. But in those areas, those people can live well. Why can they live well? Because they've been paid that house off. I mean, there was the article I keep telling y'all about that. I'm still embarrassed about that lady. She's right there outside of Clemson, inherited a house 13 years ago, debt free. Only thing she has to do is pay property tax, and the house looks like crap. Blinds look terrible. There's trash in the yard. And she doesn't realize how much wealth she just has by just having an absolutely free house in Clemson, South Carolina. Like, that's money right there. That's thousands of dollars she saved every year of her life. Having right in the backyard of Clemson University, a fast growing university. And instead of complaining about gentrification, she could have been getting her house cleaned up so she could do what? Turn around and rent it out and go somewhere else if she wanted to go somewhere else. But again, this is all about mindset, and this is all what we think is wealthy. Ownership is wealthy. 90% of all millionaires are made or were made via real estate. Now, you guys think, well, Oprah made all her money on TV. Oprah is one of the biggest real estate owners and investors in America, her and Bill Gates. And it ain't just a bunch of her Oprah homes that you see on her magazines. We're talking about actual investments. So being like a landlord feels almost criminal how easy the check is. It's funny. Chopping wood to put in grandpa's stove. I mean, literally, people get these houses, and the stuff that we would call broken or old is now considered vintage. I've literally seen Asia Dennison, and I'm gonna say her name wrong every time, literally put out claw tubs, claw bath tubs, what do you call those things? Those old historic tubs, and people break their neck to get over there because the hipsters want them because they're called vintage now. But you up there tossing grandma's house away because, you know, it's old. It's got old stuff in it. It's crazy. EF, when saving for my first property, I didn't shop. Bricks before bags, meaning handbags, was my self-talk. We were so quick to give away our freedom units for some bullshitty like bundles and bags. I mean, literally, this person's like, you should get bundles. You guys, I know my hair looks short and curly, but it literally goes down my back. I think Kiera and some other people have seen pictures of me. I put pictures on the internet like, why would I get bundles? That sounds ratchet and ghetto. That to me, why would someone cover up their natural hair that's really long and nice with bundles? That doesn't even, you know what I mean? The comment itself was silly. Just like the video I did a couple of days ago where someone said I was talking white, which is funny, which is hilarious, actually. If people aren't living the Grant Cardone lifestyle of traveling, conferences, and making millions, then home ownership is pretty important. Facts. Even the other day, someone was like, well, you know, I was complaining to another person who went through Hood Estates to have some trucks. And I was like, dude, I cannot stand going to my apartment complex where there's dog poop. People don't appreciate it because they're just renter mindset. People who have a home ownership mindset, they go in and move out fast. point blank period. Everybody I've seen that in that community, because it's very transitional. It's a luxury apartment, but it's like everybody, every other weekend there's U-Haul bin. And if you just make quick conversation, hey, you moving? Yeah, I got my house built. Like it's an everyday conversation because those people don't stay. They don't have to be there. See, that's the thing. A lot of people that when I make jokes about people moving from New York down to Texas, those people have to rent, right? Because they came from New York like with everything they had and left. And they're not in a position yet to rent, right? A position yet to own. They're just new to moving there. Ooh, Miss Sky Girl. It sickens me that our elders work hard to buy homes and land, and when they die, we don't do anything with it and let it foreclose. I mean, that's part of why the wholesaler market is so big, because yes, you're providing solutions for people in time of need, emergency, but you're also walking up on people's homes that like are just, it doesn't make any sense. Again, if I meet a wholesaler and they don't have any rentals, I wouldn't want to work with them. I mean, I would work with Cousin Nita because she has like multiple rentals. I'd work with Asia because they have multiple, rentals. It's people that don't have rentals. You're like, so basically you don't see the value in the land. You're just out here flipping it left and right. What are you doing with that money? That doesn't make sense. That's the same thing with me when I talk about real estate agents who don't have any rentals. I can't really work with any real estate agent that doesn't have rentals, because you're telling me you love real estate. You're in real estate every day. You're working around millions of dollars, but yet you don't have any? That doesn't make sense. People pay good money for those tubs in new houses. They sure do. My grandfather's house has 2 claw bathtubs and they'll be 100 years old next year. Yeah. And people are paying good money for it. $400 for something that you toss out because the house is old. Bundles equals fail. Listen, my sister owns a hair salon and I don't want to knock anything she's doing. But if you want to put bundles or braids in your hair, no worries. Like I told Kiera and all the girls this summer, everybody got summer braids. I want some summer braids. I want to put my hair in some braids. But, that's usually not my go-to style, honestly. I know, vintage. Exactly. People love saying, yeah, Oprah is probably worth about $5 billion. I mean, see, here's the thing. It becomes a cat and mouse game, to be really honest. People on Forbes list, some of them don't want to be there. Let's be really honest. Forbes list actually, there's several people who, I can't remember, it's like some kind of lawsuit where they were like, don't put me on this damn list. And you got to realize the higher people get up in the money pits, Oprah's probably in, like, prime example, Donald Trump's in over 650 different LLCs and corporations. Now, if he wasn't president, would you know that? No, because they realized at the government level, they could not divest him from 650 different corporations. There's no way. There's no way Ivanka can get out of 350 different corporations she's in. There's no way Jared Kushner, who has 1,000 properties in Baltimore that all got all these fines, they ain't gonna be able to make him sell any of that. So again, it's one of those things where you're trying to express to people with money, they don't look like it too. And that's why Donald Trump has been such a sore thumb. I even say it in the description. Rush Limbaugh was almost about to be a millionaire in the 90s when he was making a killing money with Bill Clinton was in office. And he tried to buy a football team. And the NFL was like, nah, bro, not you. Sorry, you're not distinguished. We can't have you owning a team. And so when people think, well, money looks like this or money's loud and flashy. No, it's not. Even if you get money and you're loud and flashy, you will not be able to buy into certain areas. And the Rush Limbaugh was a prime example of that. Now, second prime example of that is the NCAA just tried to pull this thing with Rich Paul. Well, you can't be an agent unless you have a bachelor's degree. Well, who 9 times out of 10 has a bachelor's degree? White males. Let's just keep it a buck. Now, even though they say, well, white males are not going to school as much as they used to. Well, black males, they in college, but they not in college at the rates that you would consider for being basketball agents. If we're 99% of the people in the basketball industry, why would they make that rule? Do you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what it's about. It's about controlling the money. And if I could, and T-Pain was another example I want to throw in this. Y'all think T-Pain is money? T-Pain got $40 million. What is $40 million to a fool? Nothing. T-Pain was, and I'm not calling him stupid or he's low education, but T-Pain couldn't even express how he lost $40 million. He couldn't even express it, you guys. Do you understand how lack of education that is? When T-Pain said, well, he put it in a bunch of properties all over Florida that we flipped and remodeled, but couldn't make no money off of. That doesn't even make any sense, y'all. South Florida, even if he bought properties in Hollywood, Florida, or the hoods of Florida and put any money in them, he could have turned around and rented them out for years. So T-Pain can't even verbally express himself to explain to you how he lost this money. That's scary, y'all. Like that's really scary when you can't even express yourself. And I've seen this, unfortunately, in a lot of videos where, somebody's like, I ain't do nothing. Now, I know y'all think that's being classist, but when people can't even express themselves and the first thing they say is, I ain't did nothing, that doesn't make any sense what you're saying, right? It's a phrase that makes no sense. And it's almost like, what does that have to do with the way I'm talking to you? Be like, officer, what's going on? I mean, it's just all about language, and it's all about how to communicate, really. And when people think that, I'm sorry, I'm looking over your comments. Erica, check out the 30 for 30 EPNS so-called broke. Oh yeah. I mean, I already know it's probably gonna make me sad for the day. I have to build myself up that. I really do. Yes, it's about control of the money. People have money and power, always try to move in silence. Exactly. T-Pain made it rain and pop about. Yeah. I mean, see, here's the thing. Whenever you talk to these people, and they always get the right ones. Let's be really honest. These kids who come out of single parent mom homes, and mom was always on welfare, and you think, hey, we give him a couple $1 million. He only gonna be in the NFL about 3 years. He should be good for the rest of his life. See, it's the mindset that didn't change. And the NFL offers every day of the week, they offer licensed people to come in and talk to you for one day and say, if you want to set up, you can do more. Now, the best thing I've ever heard is Magic Johnson saying now more than ever, his phone rings off the hook where men go, hey, I'm new to the league. I know you busy. How can I learn from you? How can I work with you? And that right there is the best story I've ever heard. That's the best. And that's part of why that's part of why he probably walked away from the Lakers thing, so that he could still be in the position to actually educate young men about, hey, you in here, you only gonna be here a couple years, take this money and make it do something smart with it. Because I know a football player from Miami Dolphins, Leonard, well, let me not say his last name, let me be quiet. He's in North Carolina, but he literally saved every dollar. And he would say every year, right before training camp, guys would call him for money. And they'd be like, man, I know you saved your money. I don't want to say his name because he ain't gonna see this, but somebody from my hometown might tell him. I know you save your money. Can you let me borrow some money? And I remember him telling us, he's like, I knew they could never pay it back. So I was always like, man, I ain't got no money. I ain't got no money either, man. They're like, man, I know you save your money. You don't never spend your money. And he's like, I ain't got it. Little did they know he was out here buying, 10, 12 properties in Charlotte before Charlotte got real expensive. Now, he was living down there in Miami, but he was in the cheapest apartment he could get, luxury apartment he could get. He was just riding the bench. He was like number 4, number 5 on the bench, getting a $300,000 a year. One year he got like $500,000, but most years he got $300,000. He was real quiet about his money. He saved every dollar, invested every dollar. And it wasn't until he listened to some girl we knew trying to go, be able to get off the bench, he ended up leaving and ended up getting to the Raiders, but they only kept him for a year and then he was gone. And I was like, homeboy, hush, just ride the bench for 7 years on Dolphins. Don't, yay, just ride the bench, okay? And again, it's what real money looks like. So now he's out here years out of the league. He living well in North Carolina. He's one of the wealthiest people I know in North Carolina. But it's because he realized this ain't gonna last forever. And a lot of the men he were talking to were making millions of dollars and asking a guy who makes $350,000, can I borrow some money from you? Can I borrow $50K because I got to pay my girlfriend and my baby mama's apartment rent and shit? Like, he's like, are you kidding me? You can't afford that. So again, anyway, I thought it was Miami Dolphins that Rush Limbaugh tried to buy a stake in Miami Dolphins, and the actual association, this is how important this is. It's ran by other owners. Other owners in the industry were like, he's not going to own anything near us because we don't want to go to dinner with him. We don't want to interact with him. It's only 50 some teams or whatever. So that means we would have to interact with him. We don't want to do that. And voted him not to get a stake. That's how it rolls. He did. He did. Drop 16. T-Pain said he gave it to his manager, and his manager, put it in terrible areas. But even then, it didn't make no sense. Do I do career consultation for young people? Not at the moment. I'm like absolutely crazy busy. I hate that. The best thing I would recommend any young people to do is watch those videos I do with Kamoy on tech. Watch the videos I do with Terry on stocks. I strongly suggest you go get a trade if you don't know what you want to do in school. If you already have kind of a career picked in your mind, go hit LinkedIn. Hit LinkedIn, type what you're trying to do in the search bar for your city. It's the best advice I could ever give you. You're going to connect more off there. Yeah, I don't watch Breakfast Club. It really wasn't until, I'm not gonna lie, and this is the funniest thing. Dame Dash came on Breakfast Club, and it was all those memes, and everything Dame Dash said, I agreed with him. And even though I didn't like his delivery, I didn't like how he spoke to them. You try not to insult the host while you're on the host's show. I agree with everything Dame Dash said, and I was like, what is the Breakfast Club? I literally went back looking for business shows from then on. Now they do a bunch of silliness, but they do a couple good business shows. Dante, I'm sick of the single mom stories. Dante, everybody's sick of the single mom stories. They're really sick of it. We're 20, 30 years into this, and everybody's tired of you coming out here like, I'm a single mom. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I literally, I'm not going to lie to y'all. People, when I want to work with people and somebody starts, Erica, I'm a single mom, I really start not wanting to work with them because it's a mindset attached to it that, hey, I'm a victim. You should work with me. Like, nah. That's, everybody's sick of it. Listen, help what? T-Pain couldn't even explain how he lost it. So what makes you think he's gonna set up a trust? So, oh yeah, of course they do. Of course they see him as food. I mean, but here's the thing: if you get the right financial advisor, that if you win, he wins, like a Rich Paul, and team like that, then you wouldn't have these problems. See, the thing is, these kids don't have any connections. These kids barely get to college, don't understand things. I remember a guy, Marcus Melvin, and y'all can look him up. I don't care if he come for me or not. I went to school with him, high school with him, and he went to NC State, and he had an actual young, like, Jewish kid with him all the time. This kid was actually his study partner and his study buddy, whatever. At the end of the day, Marcus Melvin can say what he wants. This kid was helping him do his work. I'm not going to lie and say that the NC State had this kid doing his work. He did not have him doing his work, but he was there to help him understand everything in his classes. Like, this kid was a TA, however you want to say it, NC State, whatever. Okay, we know what it was. NC State and UNC have been getting in trouble for years for bringing on kids who can barely read out of parts of South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia, and giving them TAs to go with them places. So, I mean, at the end of the day, if you can't read, and I really put this back on moms and dads, if your son's 8, 9, 10 years old and he's struggling reading and you're not getting him tutored, you are the worst parent in America, period. Anything that happens to that kid in his 20s, it's on you, because the simple ass parent job you had to do is make sure they could read. Because if you can read, you can figure out math. If you can read, you can figure out just about anything. Reading and comprehension are the gateways to anything in this world. Now you're gonna say, well, Erica, what if he's dyslexic or he's this? Listen, I've had so many moms come in these comments and tell me, my child's dyslexic. Your child being dyslexic doesn't stop them from listening or watching videos. I actually have 2 friends who are dyslexic, and the one dude's about to be a millionaire. He watches video, he watches instructional videos, he still reads, it's just very slow, and he also listens to a lot of audiobooks. So a lot of it is what? Visual and audio, that's all they have to work with if they're struggling on the reading. So a lot of you moms and dads, I'm not counting dad out here, but moms usually notice first when little Johnny or little Jamie can't read or write. They usually are the first to notice it. Oh yeah. Oh, about Andrew Priestley being broke. Yeah, I mean, we all knew that was coming. All those different kids. So I love when you say living your best life. What's up, Dre? Dre, I just told a story earlier that me and you were at the bar and you heard it. When the players were on strike a few years ago, you found out these dudes were living check to check. Oh yeah, every Tuesday in their locker they get checks. Now, one of the football players just said, I think on Earn Your Leisure, he was on the podcast. He was saying when you get when you get cut, they have, like, if they cut you before 2:30, you don't get your check for that week. And many guys have come to their locker right at 3, open the locker, and it's not the check in there, it's you're cut. They usually call you to the office and make you walk out. You don't get to come back in, because then you can steal stuff or throw stuff or be mad. And let's be honest, I've actually seen actual football players up close. The average one is 6'5" and huge. So that's why when you hear like the Ray Rices and the Ray Lewis and all these people who are really actually 5'11", it's shocking, because in the sea of men that are 6'5", like I was literally in Arizona Cardinals at the Grant Cardone thing, and Grant was making fun of, like, these guys just walk by to go pick their car up, and he's like, look at them wasting money on cars. And I mean, he wouldn't say that in front of their face, because literally they're freaking giants. There's literally these men. The one dude that was there was got to be 6'7". There's no way he was 6'5", because the man beside him was clearly 6'5". I mean, it was like giants walking to go get their car, you know? And so it's not like you can't see these kids coming, but you should at least be making sure these kids can be educated enough that, hey, you're not just some tall man, you know, in a sport. You actually have some opportunity to do something else. I remember meeting this billionaire. He's not a billionaire yet, but he will be. He's a black hedge fund manager in Texas. And I don't say his name, but it's not many of them out there. And he's 6'4", maybe a little bit taller. And I remember riding on the plane with him, and I was like, oh my God, I saw you in a newspaper article. Like, I didn't want to be stalkerish on the first class, but I was. And he was saying, do you know how many times I ride on a plane and people assume I'm a basketball player or former basketball player? He's like, I literally tell people I don't even play basketball. I never played in my life. I'm uncoordinated. And even though he did in college, he's like, I always tell people I didn't, just to see their face. And this guy, I mean, eventually you'll see him on Forbes, but long and story short, he's dressed like a regular old salesman, wealthy as hell, in first class, tall as hell. I mean, and this guy has enough money for fly private jets. He's on really high up on the list in Texas for investment funds. And I'm just like, oh. So again, you have to get these kids to know that they're more than just basketball players and sports players. They can actually make money in other industries. Dame talked to everybody like that. Well, I learned, because at first I was like, dang, Dame Dash is talking disrespectful. But here's the thing. Dame Dash also has been hurt by that, right? Because, you know, there's no reason Dame Dash should be applying for having any issues financially or IRS. The way Dame Dash conducts himself, he should be at 50, 60, 70 million every year. But that comes from, again, every dollar you have, there's an opportunity cost attached to it, and you should be investing it in things that make you money. So if Lee Daniels, no matter whatever that beef was about, if I give you, you know, $2-3 million to help you, and I don't do it with a contract, that means I had money. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know I had money, and you should pay that money back. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, Dame Dash did make enemies instead of friends. Yeah. He burned a lot of bridges. Yeah. Yo, sis, don't nobody like Dame Dash delivery. Thank you. I was wondering. I have to watch more of your videos on building business credit because I need more capital. Y'all, boy, if you haven't seen the funding course, then I don't know what you're doing. I've been put out a funding course on this channel, and I'm not even going to go over it today. No point. It's in several videos. It's on the website. There's a funding course. You can go grab it. I'm a single mom that makes me fight harder. Nobody gave me, I don't look at nobody gives sad people make a platform off that. Charmaine Joseph, it's not necessarily that anybody's bashing single moms or they're making a platform. Whenever you talk to people, you go, hey, you know, what are some good qualities about you working at this company? A person in a certain mindset will go, well, I'm a this, I'm a that, and I'm a single mom. Like, that has nothing to do with your workability. That's just your station at home. You're a single woman. You can have cats or dogs at home. Nobody knows unless you tell them. And it seems a lot of people are using it as a leverage point, unfortunately. They just do. And it makes people frustrated because it's like, you could be an amazing worker, an amazing person. It has nothing to do with the kids. It has to do with you, your workability. Now, people may say, well, it's because that person's tired and they're doing so much work as a one person. Again, has nothing to do with that. Drop 16, I'm NC State alumni. Man, listen, East Carolina, NC State, I'll be at that game later this year. Hypergamy creates these giants. Well, listen, hypergamy is a natural part of our evolution. And I know people love, oh, women. Listen, women are security and resources based, because in society, if you didn't have the right partner, you would die in the wilderness. Okay. And men are effective at getting resources. That's just all it is to it. But you know what I mean? And people overhype it, like hypergamy. And it's like, we're naturally designed to make sure we have healthy partners, healthy relationships, and people who do the opposite of why we call them dysfunctional. So, don't even have a book. Like literally, I started mailing books to different family members, and they'd be like, "Well, why you send me this book?" Because I have to. So, parents probably can't read either. That does happen. The funny thing about Dame Dash and Jay-Z, I really actually believe that theory about Jay-Z and that woman that works for them that was actually a snitch and actually worked with cops. And a lot of those stories come from her. But you saw how that story disappeared real fast, right? Like they pointed out her face, her name, and like she's on record of working with the cops. And then all of a sudden that story disappeared real fast because Jay-Z and them made sure it was buried. Because Jay-Z won't doing all that. When Cardi B and Offset are smart to buy rentals, there's no excuse for T-Pain. Okay. No, Dre, I was just telling them a story about we ain't gonna go into it again. I'll do it a different time. I'm dyslexic. I hit audiobooks and my dad took the time out to tutor me. There you go. NBA Kevin Garnett ordered to pay $100,000 a month in child support. Everybody keeps bringing that up. And what you guys keep missing is this man makes $10 million a year off of his investments. So paying her $1 million out of the $10 million he makes a year off investments, on top of the fact that his net worth's $100 million, is the equivalent of 10% of his income. I know, you guys so bad. She's paying $100,000. You're not Kevin Garnett. You're not Kevin Garnett. You're the average child support payment in America is $300. It's actually $230, but we gonna say $300 because people try to act like they paying their whole life. And if the average American is making $35,000 a year in America, yes, $200 a month is hard. It's so hard. Okay. So yes, Kevin Garnett's paying that, but Kevin Garnett literally has investments that pay him $10 million a year. And that's like Kevin Garnett's investments from real estate and some other franchises. So what's up, Cliffley TV? A good portion of corporate CEOs are dyslexic. Oh yeah. Well, the average CEO reads, I think, what was it? Five books a month. Now they didn't specify. Do they read all five? I on Audible listen to $5 a month, if that. So thank you, Alice Hardy, for the $5 super chat. Knowledge is power. Thank you, Sketch Kids, for the $1.99 super chat. Thank you guys for supporting the channel and keeping it up here. Man, there's like 230 people here this morning. Good morning, y'all. Dame is the typical Harlem dudes. Egos out of this world. You think they figure out time travel the way they talk? Man, Trav, listen. I meet some people from New York who come to Texas. They be like, it's slow down here. We'll go back. Nah, they get real quiet on that because they know they can't afford it. That's why. Sorry, I just started watching you. I will look up your funding course. Yeah, definitely do. Dame Dash interview influenced a lot of community. It really did. I think it does. You manage your families. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you, and it's irrelevant because single or not, you're supposed to be the best parent possible. Exactly. I mean, and people get mad at me when I say this, but it's the truth. I've literally had people start emails off with, "Hey, I'm a single mom of 5 or 4, and can you give me free courses and all this other stuff?" I'm like, whoa, like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, basically, you're starting this conversation off in a handout mode when you could probably watch a playlist or two of mine and get most of the free information. But again, I told y'all, people don't want free information. They want something for free, right? It's two different things. Now, free information is out here everywhere. When people want something for free, they want you to give them something. It's different. Any advice for college students in their 20s who want to start a business but don't know where to start or don't know how to get capital? I want to start a cosmetic brand one day. Well, Joyce Love, it's all about pre-sale. It's all about pre-sale. Again, People are overthinking how to start a business. It's really not that hard. And I've got a ton of videos on it where literally you're pre-selling. If you want to do something, you need to go and let me be really clear. As Obama said, let me be clear. If you don't got about $300 a month for Facebook ads, go get a job. This is very, very clear. Go get a job, because by the time you squeeze out the hour to 3 hours in the afternoon to make your cosmetic products, or go and literally, let's be honest, if you order a lot of your major bulk items to make your cosmetic products from overseas, you can do it for cheaper. You can get the little cases for 5 cents instead of 30 cents or 50 cents. And that's where people get caught up, is in the price difference. You have to go bigger. You have to go wholesale. And so if that requires you to go work your job for more years and make more money to do so, then do that. And then in the meantime, you also would be promoting your product on Instagram. But yeah, it's a pre-sale is where you're going to be with that. And funding, your initial funding is going to come from your job. I know people don't want to hear that, but that's pretty much, I tell people, don't quit your job. Don't quit your job until your business is 2 to 3 years old, period. You know, because by then you're actually getting credit cards, you're getting business lines of credit off the bulk of the money from your business. Thank you, Nicole Pritchard. That's a good response. Jay-Z just finessed the deal with the NFL, telling black artists not to perform for the NFL. He did, yeah. That's basically what it was. When they realized, oh my gosh, got to go to conference here in Vegas, baby. Had a good day, and the rest good. What's up, Soulful Show? Okay, applied knowledge. I have a cousin signed an undrafted free agent contract from NC. Oh, dang it, it popped. From NC State. I hope you'll listen to your advice. Listen, the best thing you can do for any family member, and I had several who went to college, is look at what they're taking. We had a cousin, and I'm not knocking him. I love him. He's a good cousin. They had him scheduled for bowling, archery, PE, and one English class. And finally, my uncles were like, show me your grades. Because they knew he could pass the physical PE classes, and he struggled in English. He's one of my cousins that actually struggles in writing and comprehension. He's not dyslexic, but he does struggle. And my uncles were so mad, they actually went up to the school and said, this boy ain't going to graduate. He's in his 4th year. If he don't go to the draft, he going to be at college a whole nother year. And sure enough, he got drafted. Well, he got picked for a football team in Canada, and he didn't want to go because, of course, they only pay him like $40K up there. They ain't really paying you no money to play Canadian football like y'all think. He didn't want to go. And so he ended up having to be at school a whole nother year to have courses, actual courses that go to his degree. And, you know, we all looked at him like, did you not think it was weird, honey? They were putting you in all these sports classes and you really were taking like 1 English and 1 math every semester so you could qualify for football. Did you not think that was weird? Why didn't you tell nobody in your family? You wasn't going to graduate. If the NFL didn't call you, you was going to be without a degree. Okay, let me see what else I got in here. Read Dame Dash. I wish our people focus more on truth and not the way the truth made them feel. Let's say that again. Hello, love. Read Dame Dash. I wish our people focus more on truth and not the way the truth made them feel. Dame Dash is harsh, but still the truth. Let's say that again. I just want y'all to hear it one more time. Dame Dash. I wish our people focus more on truth and not the way the truth made them feel. I could end the show right there because that's stock market down 650 points. Yeah, we'll bring Terry on tomorrow if she has time. I got to ask her. I can't just say she's going to come on and talk about stock market because you can make money when the market, real investors make money when the market's going up or going down. Oh, Lord, I got to get out of here. Am I a business consultant? Depending on, yeah. I mean, I did over 6,000 paid consultations on the phone. Yes, but at this point, I'm actually building my companies and I'm literally hiring people and training people. So I really don't have time. So if you guys notice, the video amount of videos have been going down because I'm just busy. Live videos have gone down. Other pre-made videos are going up. Goldie, $10 super chat. Thank you for supporting the channel, Goldie. Thank you for all of you who support the channel in super chat. I appreciate it. Sherman Joseph, the funny thing is I was going to pay to be on Grant Cardone's, one of his channels, and I got picked. And then at the time I was like, why would I pay this money when I could pay, and this is no knock to him or his company. Why would I pay y'all $4,000 when I could pay $4,000 in ads and blow up all over YouTube by myself? Just saying. Who's our people? Fred the Felon. Our people is everybody. At this point, if you're an American and you're struggling with money, everybody. And that's a lot of people. There you go. Mike said, I purchased the equipment I need for my soon-to-be businesses after each job assignment I work and save money towards purchase of items. Yeah, that's how you get it done. So anyways, all right, you guys, I have to go. Thank you for being here. But I just want you guys to look us up on your channel because I can't share the screen. Todd and Julie Christie are facing 30 years in jail because of bank fraud and wire fraud. You cannot be lying on these bank loans, getting millions of dollars. And I know there's channels and people telling y'all use these credit cards and do all kind of crazy stuff with credit cards. You notice I don't tell you to do that here because I know the feds ain't playing. Okay. And they be watching. All right. Okay. So I ain't doing that. And then 2, go look up the Paula Deen Media Matter article, The Leftovers. It's hilarious because Paula Deen is the true example of what is long money, what is real long money, what does long money look like, and how she gonna make it forever, right? Like Paula Deen's children are set up. Her grandchildren are just gonna be fine. Like it don't matter what you think of Paula Deen. Paula Deen's 2 sons are fine. Her grandchildren are fine. The grandchildren after her gonna be fine because they own real estate and they also invested and they got a lot of money off Food Network. So again, if you want to be in social media or you want to do the long tail, my battery died. That's how long I've been on. If you want to do social media or do the long tail, that's the key is, customers, and we'll do a whole nother monetization video on that. So, all right, you guys, this is your girl, Erica, Classic Clown Blog. Later.